Allergies. Allergy season has not gone away, folks. Not out here in Missouri. It sucks. Hello, everyone. Very stupid o'clock to one and all. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and as you can see, you can kind of see his butt there. And Mr. Mouse is also here with me this morning. Now, we're going back to that horrible world known as the GRC, but before we get started, the usual disclaimers. Alright? Okay. So, first off, you are going to see the link to this DPPC investigative report right there in the description box, alongside the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autista Koya's massive archive on the subject. The tin plates, which we have stupid approved just for those who have difficulties with technology. I'm not saying anything. You just type your name, click on your senator. ASAN does all the work for you. We are trying to end adversive punishments, improper restraints, and seclusion in public schools, including more than just JRC. It kills folks every single year. Tells them Mao. Tells them. He says, no, I don't like it. You're mean. Alright, and also, folks, we have the ever-present and self-explanatory Change.org the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. Now, trigger warning, folks, when we talk about the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you have young children present, please use your headphones, alright? Now, folks, it is 3:22 a.m. stupid o'clock in the morning, so if I stumble over any of my words or, fly into a mood because of this place's insanity, my apologies in advance, alright? Okay, so let's get to where we left off yesterday, page 6. And this should probably be a relatively short video this morning, although I say that all the time, and somehow it still ends up being 20 minutes long. So we'll see. Based on information gathered by the investigator, there is sufficient evidence to conclude that ALV is the victim of abuse, as is defined by MGI 19C and 118 CMR. Oh, for the love of God. Is it or is it not substantiated, DPPC? Fucking pick one. Are you going to continue to blame the victim like you have throughout the entirety of this damn report, or are you going to do your damn job? God, these people make my head spin. What the hell is wrong with Massachusetts? What crack is their politicians on? Moving on. Therefore, the investigation is substantiated for DPPC case number 14765. When there are multiple ALABs and allegations are substantiated on some of them, but not on others, explain. There was insufficient evidence that ALAB2 had acted as reported, nor that ALV had been injured by her alleged actions. Bullshit. See, a commenter on my last video brought up an interesting point. There might not be any marks if the incident happened months before the investigation was even carried out. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? ALAB2 did work on June the 10th, 2016, but there were no known incidents that day. I-7 stated that it would have been impossible for ALAB to have restricted phone calls since February. Impossible, really. And I'm supposed to take the JRC's word? Sure, Jan. Sure. Okay, so this goes over interviewed by the investigator. Why are we taking the JRC words on jack shit when they are literally fucking known for hiding evidence? Like, this is 2016, well after the Andre McCollins trial. 2017, excuse me. This incident took place way after that time. The JRC is known to obstruct investigation and destroy evidence. So why are we taking their word on jack shit? Why are we trusting them not to manipulate the facts and the evidence? Just saying. Just saying is all. It does not appear that the abuse report constitutes a malicious false report. Protective service actions taken and or recommended required when abuse is substantiated. The agency providing protective services to ALV should ensure that ALV is provided with access to trauma-informed therapeutic supports and are appropriate to ALV's individual situation and needs. And the cat knocked the blind down. Give me just a second, folks. I'm sorry. The cat has taken his psycho pills this morning. And it moved where we were. So let me get back to where we were. Alright. Let's get back to where we were. Computer, really? Okay, so what I find interesting is that these idiots keep thinking the JRC is going to provide proper therapeutic support for when abuse claims are substantiated. Do these idiots not know anything about this place? Students have to earn the right by good behavior to be able to have access to therapy. No, I'm not joking. That is literally their mantra at this place. You have to earn the right to eat. You have to earn the right to go and get therapy. You see what I'm saying? Why these people are given so much goddamn rope, I will never begin to understand. Especially when they have proven time and a fucking again that they are evil bastards. God, it's like Massachusetts State has freaking selective amnesia, and so does the freaking DC Circuit Court. But moving on, let's see what the quote-unquote discipline is for the staff members here. ALAB1 was restricted from working with ALV during the course of the investigation, and it was recommended that he also have no contact with students during the investigation. ALAB1 and other staff involved on June 21st, 2016 should be disciplined as appropriate. Okay, so we're going to leave it to the JRC to discipline their staff when abuse is substantiated. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Why? My God. Moving on before I lose it and go on a rant. No, I'm going to go on a rant. No other state. No place that I've worked with out here in my own state. When it comes to abuse like this, just leaves it up to the agency alone. I mean, granted, more often than not, we give them to leisure to discipline their own staff, but in a place where multiple incidents are known, then we basically we in the state, when I worked with the state, would then oversee the discipline. And if they are to be terminated, then we would damn make sure that they were terminated. This is insane. The amount of authority and the shit this place continues to get away with is insane. Moving on. Additional findings of risk. From viewing footage of June 21st, 2016 incident, it is clear that staff, LAB1, I3, I4, and I5 restrained ALV prior to attempting any less restrictive measures as directed in ALV's information. In addition to staff failing to attempt any less restrictive measures, the restraint is not documented as all staff involved failed to see the event as a restraint or possible abuse. This raises concern that there is a possible systemic issue beyond this one incident. Considering all the reports you get on this place every single year, and the fact that it is not more deeply fucking investigated like by a federal entity, is bizarre. ALV was noted to often complain about staff and frequently write notes about her concerns. ALV is clearly distressed in the June 21st incident. I want to know why the fuck you're just like, oh, she just does that when she sends notes. Why is she hiding it and trying to get it to people? It's a fucking cry for help. You are bastards for ignoring it. At times on June 21st, 2016, staff threatened to take ALV's blank, I3, to limit her calls to blank, and to take away her preferred foods, ALAB1. No, they didn't prefer to take away her preferred foods, people. They threatened to take away her right to be able to eat breakfast. And guess what, DPPC? There is a lot of documents to back up that fact. Please, do me the favor of not blowing smoke up my ass. It is too early in the morning. These actions only serve to instigate ALV and to undermine the behavior, treatment, and use at the program. The other JRC staff present during the incident, or those that may have been viewed it via video monitoring, did not see this as an unnecessary, undocumented, and clearly emotionally disturbing event for ALV, as abuse points to a systemic issue beyond this one incident. The acuity of behavioral challenges exhibited by students at JRC places staff in situations where they are required to immediately react and address complex behaviors to protect themselves and the students. Oh, fucking spare me. So here we go, folks. We're going to victim blame again. It's their fault. Don't you know that, Tiffany? Don't you know what happened to you and your abuse is your fault because you're autistic, see, and it's because of your behaviors that you went through what you went through as a child? Yeah. If somebody said that to me, that's the same fucking thing they're saying here. The exact same fucking thing. They are excusing what the staff has done, blaming it on fucking behaviors that they themselves caused. God. Without in-depth clinical training and immediate react and address and continual strong and consistent supervision and direction, staff appear to sometimes develop informal patterns of response that are neither consistent with the JRC program guidelines, bullshit, or safe for the students and the staff involved. The JRC is not safe for the fucking students. They can deprive them of food and sleep. They shock them on a semi-regular basis. Come on now. This potentially creates an atmosphere where neither the students or staff are safe and allows for dangerous incidents to occur that lead to abuse. It appears that the JRC is facing challenges that impact multiple areas of the organized structure. For example, as is common in many residential treatment education programs, Recruitment and retention of adequately trained and qualified staff is a consistent challenge. Really? Is it really that difficult? Fucking train your staff. Don't throw somebody in there after 3 weeks of fucking training. People, like I've said, out here in my state, especially for mental health, first they make you go through med assistant training. That's a program for 6 months. And you do clinicals and all of that. When you decide to work in the mental health field as a med assistant, well, that's another 3 months before you're even allowed in a situation to work with a day program, what have you. Yeah, Tiffany, it's hard for them to get qualified people. No, it's not. No, it's not. They are supposed to train these people. That is their fucking job. They take kids out of fucking high school, give them next to no training, throw them in, and y'all are surprised when shit like this pops up. Just saying. Also, the isolation from the main campus of many JRC residents makes supervision and direction of staff difficult even with the video monitoring process. Can we make more excuses for these evil bastards, DPPC? You know, out here, there are no excuses. You know, the Bible Belt you Massachusetts folks like to make fun of? There are no excuses in situations like this. None that we accept out here. Shouldn't that shame you into doing better? Because here we are, Missourians, those backwards hillbilly rednecks that you all like to brag on. And yet we treat our disabled people with a hell of a lot more dignity. We do not strip them of their autonomy. We do not starve them. We do not shock them to death. We do not submit them to abuse. And then we don't make excuses when abuse is substantiated. That's y'all's department. And you should be ashamed. Moving on. Additional recommendations and or actions already completed required when additional risk is identified. EEC is a licensing agency for the residents where this incident took place. DDS should work with EEC to ensure that restraints are documented when they occur and that the least restrictive measures are always tried. JRC should provide discipline as appropriate and retraining for all staff as necessary to ensure that staff follow behavior plans, employ least restrictive measures, restrain students only when appropriate, and document all restraints appropriately. JRC should also ensure that staff are educated and empowered to report all treatment that is not in keeping with behavior plans or agency guidelines. ALV treatment team at JRC should ensure that all of ALV's complaints are treated seriously and shared with her funding agency. They should also continue to review with the funding agency whether this is an appropriate placement for ALV. All staff who use threats with ALV should be disciplined as appropriate and retrained. In addition, I think they should be fucking fired, as they would be out here. Gotta love that zero tolerance policy. In addition, JRC should ensure staff are trained adequately and effectively to carry out behavioral treatment and use at the program. I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 fucking times, and I will say it again. Behavioral treatment does not work for somebody who has a neurological disability, people. It makes no sense. These behaviors are not willful. They come from our neurology. So why are we treating something that is a neurological issue with behavioral methods? It makes no sense. You treat neurological issues with fucking medicine. God. JRC should utilize internal and identify external resources to evaluate the current state of the program and address the organization-wide challenges that they appear to be controlling. Okay. Oh, for crying out loud. There we go. So the rest of these are a bunch of blanked out pages, folks. And that pretty much covers it. So what do we learn from this? Well, for one, it's very, very revealing about the DPPC. It's very, very revealing about how Massachusetts views this place and people with disabilities as a whole. It's very, very, very telling, isn't it? Isn't it? We have substantiated report after substantiated report, and on nearly every single one of them, they say there's a complete system issue with this place, even when they're bending over backwards to defend them and saying it's understandable, they still note it, and yet nothing continues to be done. And then you have the DC Circuit Court just giving them the signature of approval without even looking into the piles and piles and piles of evidence. So yeah, there we are. I'm gonna go ahead and close out on that note this morning. Now, we don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So folks, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, don't forget to hit the comments, and feed that algorithm. I do appreciate your time this morning. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.